Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I want to show you how I use IEW with the writing compositional work in Lightning Literature, specifically grade 4. So if you're new here, I have a 9.5-year-old who recently this past summer / beginning of this 4th grade school year finished year 1 level A from IEW. And again, I have a whole review on this. I will link up above for you, kind of my thoughts and opinions, what we liked, disliked about it. But I specifically waited until we were done with IEW to start Lightning Literature because I feel like doing both would be a lot. It's a lot, of reading and then adding on the writing. I wanted to separate it out to make it easier for my daughter. But on top of that, I also wanted to be able to use what she learned in IEW and apply it to the compositional work that is in Lightning Literature. Because if you know anything about Lightning Literature, people often say that the composition work or assignments in here are very weak. And I have to agree, I didn't realize how weak they really were until we went through IEW and saw a very structured, well-written, in our opinion, writing curriculum. So I'm really glad we did IEW. And again, we'll do it the following year. We always, when she finishes Lightning Literature, she'll go on to the next level of IEW and so on and so on. So we will hopefully always be able to apply IEW knowledge to what she's working on compositionally. But it also gives her an opportunity to practice those things she learned in IEW so she doesn't lose those skills. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you how in the first 3 lessons we used what she learned in IEW to help fill in the structure of the compositional assignments in Lightning Literature. So this is Lightning Literature student book, and then this is IEW, the complete Level A Year 1. So I'm going to show you really quick the compositional work. All right, so here's week 1. We have composition. So day 1, composition. So most of the time in Lightning Literature, at least the last 2 years we've done it, it starts with brainstorming, coming up with a topic. So for the first reading she did was from this book, The Earth Dragon Awakes, the San Francisco Earthquake of 1906. Now, her assignment for this week, and I believe 2 weeks, she works on the writing assignment, is to write a historical fiction story. So obviously this is talking about an actual earthquake that took place, but the story itself is fictional. So her assignment this particular week was to make a historical fiction paper. Now, as you can see here, it's not very detailed. So pick out and brainstorm an idea, choose characters from your story, pick out a conflict, write a basic story outline, and again, it gives you kind of an example, but there's definitely not structure here. So if you're a beginning writer or if you don't really know a lot about writing, this is extremely hard to work with. And from coming from IEW, I realized that there's very little structure in this, which makes it more frustrating to the child. So, and then the second week, they will continue on with more compositional work. So you can see here, they begin writing their story from the outline they made previously, and then make a rough draft and things like that. So in about 2 weeks, she was supposed to write a paper, but there's very little instruction as the teacher for it. So what I did, because I do like the writing assignment ideas or the topics, that it goes along directly with the book, that it's bringing in elements that they're practicing in grammar that apply to the story they're going to write. The only problem is there wasn't enough structure or instruction as the teacher for me. Come in IEW. So what I have been doing is I've been taking the assignments and using what she has learned in IEW. So for example, the historical fiction 1. IEW in these tabs has different model charts and outlines for your student to refer back to. So I've been using a lot of these to help. So for example, to make her outline, we look at simple things like this. Introduction, what do you need to remember to have? Your topic, your second topic, your third topic. Now for the first assignment, she was only writing from one person's point of view, her story. So it wasn't necessarily broken into different paragraphs, but she chose to do it that way because she's so used to doing it the IEW way. So her assignment was pretty much just to write a historical fiction story. So she chose the COVID-19 pandemic because it's something she physically lived through, and one of the assignments was she had to be a character in the story, so her point of view, but she also brought in elements, characters that didn't exist. So as you can see here, she did this by herself. So she wrote 4 pages in a matter of probably a week, and this was extremely easy for her. Coming from IEW, which by the end of IEW, she could write a 5-paragraph essay in probably about 30 to 45 minutes. So the fact that this was stretched for almost 2 weeks, she thought was really easy. So she actually did the majority of the writing in one day. And that's fine. If she finishes the assignment early, she doesn't have to do composition for the rest of the days. And you can see here, I don't make her do a final draft right now because, again, this is 4 pages she chose to write, and I don't want her to get bogged down with the writing that she doesn't want to actually write. So I just go through, and if she has punctuation or spelling, I just have her correct it on here. So the orange is my corrections, so I'm still editing like I did in IEW, and she makes the corrections, but I do not make her go through and write an entire new paper. I just think that's a little bit much for her now. So one thing she's also been doing is, in her assignments, I am still having her include all the things that were expected in her IEW writing. So for example, this was one of the last weeks of IEW. This is the checklist. She had to make sure she had introduction, body paragraphs. These are what needs to be in every paragraph. ly adverb, who, which clause, strong verb, because clause, quality adjective. This is specifically something she's looking for. And it's got a reminder for checking punctuation and grammar and things like that. So she did all that within this. And she knows how to mark it. So I know, for example, prepositional openers are marked with a number 2 above it. But she's so used to doing it from IEW that transferring into this was very easy for her. It's almost become a habit, which is the really nice thing about IEW. IEW is it's making it a habit so they don't have to even think about it. And her writing has greatly improved. She was very proud of how it came together and the narrative that she wrote, and being able to include different types of words. So for example, they have all these stylistic techniques, they have a list of ly adverbs, things she can refer back to, banned words that you should, so for example, fun, bad, good, finding a different word that better explains that makes a better writer. So she's able to incorporate all this into this, and it's been working really, really nicely. So for the next assignment, she was reading Morning Girl, and the assignment was to tell a personal essay, or so a personal narrative. This is told from the perspective of 2 different people, the boy and the girl. So one chapter is Morning Girl, the other one is Star Boy, and it goes back and forth to tell the story. So her assignment for this was to tell a story from 2 different perspectives. And again, brainstorming, outline, internal details. So the grammar was talking about different, I believe this was superlative and things like that for grammar. So implying, making sure you apply that into your work. And then beginning your rough draft. So again, you can see the gaps in there, that it's not very structured. It can be confusing for the student. So what I did is I turned back to, again, one of our handouts to help with this about retelling a narrative story. So introducing the character and the settings in the first paragraph. Second paragraph talking about the conflict or the problem. The third, the climax, resolution. Again, she is still applying all those things in each paragraph. So for this one, and of course, one of the things we've been utilizing a lot is this keyword outline. Again, this is introduced very like the first lesson of IEW, but your central fact or your topic, your supporting details, or what's important. And again, she's not writing sentences for this. She's writing 2 or 3 key words to then be able to turn it into a sentence. And if you would prefer to draw a picture, I also allow this, but this is from, so you can see week 14. But we're utilizing the things we already have to help with the structure of it. We worked together to make a story. So she chose fictional characters and showed the difference of how they view Christmas morning. So she wrote an outline. Again, she did this part independently just because she's so used to it that she didn't really need my help to do it. So this is what she ended up writing. So this is one perspective, this is the second perspective of the child that she chose, and she wrote it that way. Again, I went through with my suggestions on corrections and things like that, but this was, I'm pretty sure, stretched over a week and a half, and again, she could do this within a couple days easily, as long as she had the guide or the scaffolding to help her get there. So I want to show you what we're currently doing for the next assignment. The next assignment, she will be starting the one and only Ivan, and she's going to write a persuasive essay in here. And one of the things she's going to include is she's obviously going to be trying to persuade her reader of something. So example, dogs are better than cats for pets, things like that. So again, as you can see, the compositional work, brainstorm, outline, write rough draft. That's not really helpful. So what I'm going to have her do is utilize these again. She's going to have her, because this has to be a work of non-fiction. So although persuasion is her opinion, the facts or information she's going to get is truthful. So summarizing a reference, we're going to make a keyword outline doing that. So why, for example, the dog-cat thing. Why are dogs better than cats? Fact about a dog, and then I'm going to have her include a personal story or anecdote to back up that fact of her opinion. So fact, opinion. Then second thing, what's also great, or what's more interesting about dogs. So dogs do this, dogs do this, dogs do this, or their fur, whatever the topic may be. She's going to have her opinion of why, and then a fact to back that up, and then an anecdote to go with it. So that is kind of how she's going to do it. And again, she'll probably have 2 weeks to write this, but she will most likely do it a lot quicker than that. But having the scaffolding that she can look back at to help organize where everything needs to go, and then bringing in all the things that she's already learned is really making her a better writer, is giving her the opportunity to continually practice the skills that she has learned. And when, like I said, when she finishes this, she will move on to the next level of IEW, and when she finishes that level, she'll move on to grade 5 of Lightning Lit. But I wanted to give you an idea of how these two are working well together, how we can continue to do Lightning Literature even though the compositional work is weaker in it. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. If not, thank you for watching.